Top 10 favorite top 10 favorite finds at WOC 2026.
Concrete in Las Vegas this year, which is one of the largest construction trade shows in North America. There are over 1,300 companies that attend the show, along with 60,000 attendees and visitors. I've been in the construction industry for 20 years, and I'm always looking for the next cool tool, material, or product that I've never seen before in the construction or home improvement space. So let's get to my top 10 finds in no particular order. Number 1, a hammer that is unlike any other hammer I've ever seen before.
Oh, it's cool. Underneath it looks like this.
This is the Erna brand EV3, guys. Some would say it's a hammer, but it's more of a multi-functional tool. You have a wrench in here built for the she-bolts.
Yeah?
Concrete, she-bolts.
Wrench?
Tight.
Shit.
Adjustable wrench in here. The different sizes. Locking bolts.
Locking bolts.
Here.
Oh, shit.
You got a 3/4 at the bottom, a 1/2 inch. So your header support brackets.
This locking wrench is cool.
In, out, adjust, drop, finger tighten. And just think, you never had to pull a wrench out. We got the face puller built in. Face puller.
Face puller.
16 dupe. And that's for just when you run into a situation where you got to cut something out real quick. You don't want to climb down. You don't want to run back to the truck, so to speak. You put your Sawzall blade on and make your last little cut. See, makes it easy, makes it quick. It's not for every cut. It's only when you need it, when you're in a pinch. Don't be lazy, go get a saw. But if you're in a pinch, use that. Burnerbrand.com. Thank you, guys.
Burnerbrand.com. Burnerbrand hammer looks cool.
John couldn't wait to get home when he was unexpectedly caught in an awkward progressive ad.
This gentleman was the owner and inventor of this tool, and I absolutely love this show because you would never know about tools like this if you didn't come to this show. And more often than not, the best tools come from the individuals that truly use them on a daily basis. When you walk around a show of this size, it's so easy to get distracted by all the cool tools and materials throughout the entire premise of the convention center. Especially when you're surrounded by large reputable brands that are trying to showcase their latest and greatest products, such as Bosch, Milwaukee, Makita, Hilti, DeWalt, and so forth. These booths are extremely active and entertaining, and I'm sure each one of them spent millions of dollars just to be at this show. All that to say, spend some time at these booths just to see what the newest, latest, and greatest products are. Just be prepared for the fact that this is January and it still might be cold in the mornings, even if we're in Vegas. Now, I don't spend a ton of time at these booths just because I want to see the rest of the show, but the items that caught my eye the most in the big brand name areas was a couple items from Milwaukee.
So this is our one-ton chain hoist. Came out about 8 months ago. What's nice about this unit, fully battery powered.
Fully battery powered.
12-0 forged batteries. These
slot.
forged batteries can do anywhere between 4 and 6 complete pulls on this 20-foot chain. What's nice is too is it has an integrated E and manual clutch. So if you are changing out a battery, this load will not drop. Also with our remote here, it will show you when you have 25% battery left. And as you can see now, it is in the inverted position. So you have full access to the unit to change out the battery as well. We do offer a 60-foot chain if you'd like to upgrade. And
what does it come with?
It comes with a 20-foot chain.
20 foot, okay.
Yep. And then also with the remote, you can actually push down on the trigger and you can go as slow or fast as you want. With the chain hoist,
M18 battery
it weighs
indicator.
46 pounds. Again, comes with our pack-out carrying case, 2 batteries and charger.
That's awesome. And 1 ton.
1 ton. So 2,204 pounds.
Woo!
What is this?
Hey guys, Rob from Milwaukee here at the World of Concrete.
We
just released our new Bolt Red Lithium USB cooling fan as part of our Bolt accessory platform. We'll have full compatibility with all of our head protection models. We'll have the most powerful airflow distributed to either the back of the neck, or you can customize your airflow. We're the only product that's going to be delivering it inside of the helmet with this setup, reducing that peak temperature by up to 40 degrees. With that silicone duct on the back, you can actually swap it out and install the neck duct or a hard hat suspension style duct. The fan's being ran off our red lithium USB battery platform.
Okay.
You get 4 hours on high, 6 hours on low.
Battery.
You can swap it out for essentially all day runtime or internally recharge the battery at the back. You get about 80% life back in 30 minutes.
USB. A little USB-C.
If you want to pan over here, I'll show you the demo visually of how powerful this fan is and how well it's going to cool you on those hot days.
Oh, nice.
So this air movement's coming in through the fan, the duct, inside the foam and at the top of your head. We do have a full line of passive cooling liners with water activation. If you add that in, we could see up to 60-degree temperature reduction.
Is it available yet?
Great question. Our Bolt cooling fan is available for pre-orders now. It's going to be shipping this April.
Check it out.
There are so many amazing booths exteriorly, whether it's the large brand names that you know and trust, or a number of large heavy equipment type products that you would see at a job site.
WOC.
As someone who has spent a considerable amount of time at different types of job sites, it is fun even for me to see products that I certainly have never seen on site before, because these companies are coming out of the woodwork with their latest and greatest, or in other words, the rock pile. But these massive behemoths are not only exteriorly, but interiorly as well, which you can find a plethora of concrete delivering devices interiorly as well, which you can find.
Damn, a cement truck. That lift is not bad. Just 4. Well, it's more now. 6.
And a plethora of concrete delivering devices in some fashion or the other. Anything and everything involving some form of concrete is going to be found at this show, but one of the more intriguing items that I saw in the heavy equipment construction space was a bucket.
This is the funnel bucket. We make them in Winfield, Missouri. Great for precise placement of all kinds of aggregate, concrete, rock, whatever. Saves you a lot of time and labor, a lot of labor man hours. We make them in 2 sizes. A 4-footer weighs 400 pounds. 3/4 cubic yard. 5-footer is a full yard, weighs 500 pounds. Fits any skid steer.
Oh, look at this thing.
And how does this benefit someone on the job site?
You do not have nearly as much regular labor man hours cleaning up messes that a normal Bobcat would make, a normal skid steer would make. Plus, you can pour concrete with this in forms. You don't have to use a shovel. Pretty handy. Save a lot of backs.
It's obviously very accurate where it's being placed,
exactly,
which is really nice.
Yeah.
Because normally when you're on a skid steer, it can tend to move on you.
That's true.
And what's your website?
Website is funnelbucket.com.
Funnelbucket.com.
We're made by Victor Pipe and Steel, and we have a website for that as well.
I love the ingenuity, but also the simplicity of the funnel bucket. But that's also the beauty of the show, because ingenuity and innovation can come from simplicity, but also higher-end technology spaces, which are quite prevalent at this show. There are a number of companies that are trying to make the job site easier and safer for everyone. You might be screaming to yourself, they took our jobs, but there are innovations in the surveying space with robots that are doing it for you, but also rebar tying machines that I don't think are going to be at any job sites anytime soon, but maybe in the future.
This little machine, that shit moving.
Saving money feels right, just like when things are packed tidy and tight.
There's a steadily growing presence of concrete 3D printers that is already printing out exterior concrete furniture or even houses, and this is just the very beginning, so I can only imagine what it's going to be like in another decade or so. But personally for me, what I found the most interesting in the high-tech space was something that hopefully will save your back in the long run.
Yeah, so behind me we are featuring the MZ100. It's the latest masonry ergonomic lifting. So what we're going to do, we're going to travel on over here. We are going to set our gripper down over the block. Right now I have this in its tear mode, so we're going to grip the block. It's going to lift it slightly. It's going to weigh the block. As you can see on the display behind me, this is about a 35-pound block. Once this is done blinking, we are now in float mode. This block is now completely weightless. I'm able to maneuver it easily around the job site from my pallet to my wall with the simplest of ease.
Okay.
Up there, you'll also find the battery life. This machine features a lithium-ion battery that's going to give you about 35 working hours. Charges simply by a normal 110 outlet. Standard extension cord takes about 3.5 hours to charge. We offer a variety of different gripper solutions depending on the block that it is that you're trying to grab. Here we feature a veneer gripper. All of our systems run along these rack systems. That way we are able to grip small block, big block, and anything in between.
Yeah, what is the weight capacity with it?
Nice.
This machine behind me features a 100-pound lifting capacity, and the gray units that you see on the screen behind me will go up to 200 pounds. Standard lifting capacity 150.
And I'm assuming this is probably the smaller unit of it too. So
yes.
What type of extension for that arm?
Yeah, so we're featuring a 12-foot arm on this unit, which is going to get you about a 24-foot radius. When we butt this up to the wall, you're going to be able to cover about 22 linear feet. So it's a set it and forget it style machine. Now that this block has already been weighed, setting things down and picking things up gets a whole lot faster. When we decide to set this down, we leave it a little proud, gives us plenty of time to get our block to the line, get everything flush, and then when I'm ready to pick up the next one, it's the same weight block, so we're able to grip it and rip it.
Yeah, so it's a much simpler process and quicker process because all of a sudden it's calibrated to that exact weight.
That is absolutely correct.
That's amazing. And what's your website?
Yeah, so that's going to be www.construction-robotics.com.
And I don't know how this would affect job site speed, but inevitably, it certainly would save your back in the long run when considering people do this for a living on a daily basis.
These little like grips on that thing.
And as someone who has beaten up their body for years now, but also has kids, and I want to stay as functional as possible for the long term, I do appreciate these companies. I want to
Is that a ladder? Oh, it's a
run
ladder. Oh, that
when
ladder.
considering
Oh.
people do this for a living on a daily basis. And as someone who has beaten up their body for years now, but also has kids, and I want to stay as functional as possible for the long term, I do appreciate these companies that are trying to make safety a priority, which is not always the case in the construction space.
That's nice.
I saw cool innovations in the ladder space, hard hat space, and even found a hydration backpack specifically designed for individuals in construction that inevitably came from the automotive industry, apparently. Very cool to see companies that are trying to take care of your well-being both inside and out. One of the items that was pretty prevalent in the safety space were masks, specifically shield masks for your face, but also lung protection, and I found a system that takes care of both.
So this is Microclimate Air 3. This is a respirator for the modern age. Now it isn't just the cool design, but it's also the things that you can do. With this respirator, you don't have to shave your beard, doesn't require a fit test from OSHA. You can unlock a phone. You can even use earbuds and use a voice assistant or also make a call, all while wearing a respirator.
There we go. Perfect.
Q100 filters to protect your lungs, and also ANSI Z87 Plus high impact protection to protect your face and your eyes.
Is this replaceable?
Yeah.
The actual screen itself?
Yeah. So this comes apart without tools. So what kind of particulates like we do a lot. The visor comes off. The visor can be replaced, but also we also offer, actually they all ship with one of these
screen protectors.
These tear-offs or 10-pack for $29. Or yeah, you can also just replace the.
That's awesome. Actually, that's really convenient for sure. And it has a built-in fan, so it can it never fogs up on you. Is that correct?
Right. That's what keeps it from fogging up. The electronics down here. Turn this on. It's USB-C, 8.5-hour battery, and that's driving the blower back here. That's generating over 200 liters per minute of fresh, clean air that's coming down through here. Keeps it from fogging up, and that's also what provides the positive pressure in here. So clean air is always rushing out, and that's why you can have a beard. It doesn't need a seal.
That's awesome. Definitely works for me, especially right now. So fogs up with the air not on, but when you press that magical button, all of a sudden, bye-bye. And what's your website?
So it's microclimate.com, You can get it there, or we're also available on Amazon.
Okay. Cool.
Technology. Why do you keep letting us down?
World of Concrete is a full 3-day extent, and to see everything, I have to make sure I'm moving at all times at the show, trying to find new innovations along the way. A few honorable mentions go as follow. One being Encore Hardcoat, which has a unique rebar clip snapping machine, which provides a very long clip mechanism to go with it. They're also working on a walk-behind system as well, which is even more innovative, but that's a ways out for sure. If you've ever used a porta potty at a job site, you know how potentially disgusting they can get, which is why it's nice to see that someone is working on a system where it ties into the existing piping in the structure of the home or building, and therefore nothing has to be pumped out. This is more for large-scale apartment complexes or condominiums, but still could find its way in the residential space.
Sanitary innovations. Okay.
Mud Mixer is an on-demand concrete mixing machine that I've personally used on my own job sites, but they just came out with the Mud Mixer Pro that can handle 3 yards of concrete per hour. Too many amazing products to count, but my next top 10 item was an item that was invented due to necessity at the job site from the crew that does it themselves.
This is the Mesh Puller 3000. And after 10 years, I grabbed this. After 20 years of pulling mesh like this, I learned to work smarter, not harder. So we came up with the Mesh Puller 3000 to easily lift your mesh up into the center of the slab. So you come out with a better product, no back injuries for your employees pulling mesh for 5 hours, and it just takes all the work out of mesh pulling.
Yeah, because I've seen plenty of concrete on job sites, and it's always a pain to try and get that rebar up after you pour concrete on it. This just makes life a lot easier in that respect.
Yeah, you see so many people just leaving the mesh on the ground because they get too tired of pulling that mesh and they just give up.
And you're the one that created this?
Yep. This is the third version. Made the first one about 10 years ago.
Is it available on your website?
It will be available on the website soon. We're looking for distributors right now, trying to get it worldwide.
And what's your website?
Sprotecode.com.
There we go.
Sometimes the simple, straightforward innovation is the best innovation, and that's what I think of when I think of Mesh Puller 3000. I just wish I asked the backstory behind the name because I'm sure it would have been an entertaining one. If we're at World of Concrete, might as well be talking about products that involve concrete because there are a lot of construction materials at this show as well. Of course, Mape was here doing a number of fun demonstrations for the crowds, which I always gravitate towards the live demonstration portion of any booth. Demonstrations from last year that piqued my interest was from Rebotech, which is a hydrophobic product where you add it to your concrete mix and it basically becomes hydrophobic, so meaning that your generic concrete all of a sudden becomes waterproof. Crack Stitch was an amazing product that helps your existing concrete slab that is already cracking stay put long term. But if you have an old, ugly concrete driveway that needs to be rejuvenated, you have to check out Like New Concrete, which is a spray-on additive for your existing driveway that will never peel and chip once applied. And a fan favorite, which was a throw-and-go asphalt patch, which made the installation process very easy. I don't know if it was more reputable than any of the other ones, but it certainly was of interest for a lot of people in many different countries. Just saying, since I got hundreds of emails. But the repair product that made my top 10 list was something that I had never personally seen before and provided a very interesting demonstration.
We're going to demo today our Foscrete Formula 1 material. This is a rapid setting patch material for concrete. Your initial set's going to be about 15 minutes, and then in about an hour you're going to have a full strength of 10,000 psi. So it's probably a lot stronger than the concrete that you're going to be repairing, but it's more flexible than that concrete, so it's not going to move or damage the concrete if you have movement in the area you're repairing. Here's a sample where you can see we put the material between two pieces of concrete, so you can see how well it bonds to the concrete. That was a smooth cut surface of concrete. All we did was put the concrete in, cast the repair material over it, and put another block on top, and it bonded to itself that well. Here is a piece that's all the repair material. You can see that we cast these on different days, and you can see the line between each layer on the mold side of the sample, December 11th, 15th, and 18th. But when you cut it open and look inside, you can't find any cold joints in this product.
Like half a cylinder.
So since this is a rapid setting patch material, we often hear the question of how do I stay ahead on a large repair? And the answer is you don't need to worry about it. You can just keep filling in your repair, and all you do is you save the last half of an inch of your repair for finishing at the end. This can also be ground, polished, and cut just like regular concrete. So if you don't have time to finish it, or if somebody doesn't do a good job, you can come back with a grinder polisher and make that clean and smooth. The material comes in a pre-established measured kit for you. So if you order this material, it'll come as a 22-pound bag or a 50-pound bag of the dry powder, along with the pre-measured amount of the liquid activator. In the liquid activator, you see that there's a yellow layer on top of that material. That's our penetrating sealer pore shield, is included in this as an admixture. So I'm gonna mix this material now, and I'm gonna put it in the pan to repair that broken concrete beam. In about 5 minutes or so, probably even a little less than that, you're gonna see this penetrating sealer coming up out of the material as it starts to cure and sitting on top. Then as it continues to cure and pores form in the repair material, it pulls the sealer back in from the surface and seals itself. So it's doing it all in one application at the time you installed it, so it's durable from salt, freeze-thaw, deterioration, and you have a really strong concrete repair.
How much is your 50-pound bag?
Yeah, a 50-pound bag is about $93. So general rough math, I tell people that makes it easy to estimate. Half a cubic foot, $100. So per cubic foot, about $200 is what you're looking at.
What can a no-fee, no-minimum Capital One 360 checking account do for you?
Capital One bank?
What can a no-fee
bank and sip?
So this material that we're going to deal with today is the horizontal castable material. This is for flat work repairs. This product also comes in a vertical and overhead version. It packs like kinetic sand. We have a hardened sample over there to show you. But if you have a repair that's on a wall or overhead, you just mix it, and then you can take it by hand and scrub coat that concrete or that steel, and then you can just keep packing it in and building that repair back out from the top down. The other thing is that when this material contains steel, it pulls the iron oxide rust off of that steel bar. So it passivates the outer layer of the steel and stops the corrosion from continuing on that steel that you're encasing in this patch material. It'll also prevent the corrosion from traveling down the steel to other parts of your structure. So all I'm gonna do today is put this liquid activator into the bucket. Kyle's gonna help me by slowly pouring the powder in there, and I'm gonna do a little bit of mixing. You're gonna see I'm only gonna do about 30 to 45 seconds of mixing here with this typical rotary drill and an auger. Then we're gonna go right into that pan and finish it. It's gonna be a very quick and easy process. By the way, this bucket is the bucket I've used all week for every demo, and I've used nothing to clean it but a paper towel in between. This is a magnesium phosphate cement, so you don't have to be concerned for the powder in your way you would a free silicone, a traditional cement patch. It's not gonna have respiratory issues or silicosis concerns. That's it. And now you can see it's pliable, workable, easy to maneuver around, dump into a hole, fill into a repair of pretty much any shape or size. So now we'll swing it over here where we've got a broken piece of concrete beam, and you'll notice there's no steel, there's no mechanics tying this patch to the repair material. It's just gonna chemically bond to that concrete. So typically, like I said, I'll try to get to just that last lift you want to leave a little bit, make it a little easier on yourself finishing. In terms of consolidation, you just got to give this a little bit of vibration. In the field, in a practical repair, using the scoop, using the trowel, giving it this is all you really need to do. A little vibration is going to consolidate it into all the nooks and crannies. I mentioned this material bonds really well to steel. So this is a magnesium float. Notice how clean that is, even though I'm sticking it directly in there and pulling it back out as I'm consolidating. As long as you use the right tools, cleanup is incredibly simple. A little bit of consolidation there. You can probably see if you get close, there's a little bit of a yellow oily layer in certain spots. That's this penetrating sealer starting to make its way out as a little bit of curing's happening. Then you'll see it's gonna suck it all back in eventually. And then you can finish this. You could broom finish this if you needed to, in the same way you would work with any other concrete patch or repair material. This is where I usually joke that you don't get to judge my finishing skills. This isn't my normal day-to-day work.
And how quick will it set?
This is going to set in about 15 minutes, initial set. So 15 to 20 minutes from now, I'm going to turn and dump this out of the pan. This is an exothermic reaction, so as I combine those two ingredients, it's heating up pretty significantly. So if you want to buy more working time, a really easy solution is you just keep this activator in a cooler on your job site. So when this material heats up to about 115 degrees is when it's going to start to set. So if you store this and keep it at like 50 degrees instead of an ambient condition of, let's say, 85 or 90, you've got that extra time that this has to run up to get to that 115.
Okay.
So you could really tune it to your application environment and get a good understanding of how much time you need to work with and how you can get there without any extra cost. It's just adding it into a cooler. This Formula One product does not contain any water. It is an activator that is pre-measured, a chemical activator, so it can be applied in sub-freezing temperatures. So you can actually patch and repair down to negative 20 degrees Fahrenheit.
Amazing. What's your website?
You can find more information on this at either craftco.com or fosscrete.com.
Craftco.com.
When I'm looking at concrete patches, it tends to be more of a functional fix and not a beautiful fix.
Cool.
But when we're at World of Concrete, you have to appreciate everything that goes into concrete, including the artistry, because there are certainly men and women in this realm that are true artists when it comes to concrete and what you can actually produce with it. Throughout the 3-day stint at this show, you can come back to these demonstrations and see firsthand what can be created with unique construction and artistry materials. And it is quite staggering to see what can be created in such a short amount of time. Some of this work is involved with competitions, so everyone's bringing their A games to try and present something that stands out in a crowd. But it's not just the competitions that have artistry built in. There's of course some unique artistry when it comes to 3D printed furniture at the show, which is fun to see what is truly possible in this realm, or can be as simple as redecorating your daughter's Barbie playhouse. I came across a product called Jesmonite that is a really unique artistic type concrete where the realms of creativity are endless because of the unique nature of their product line. There's so many different use cases for it, mostly on the more artistic, smaller scale, but I certainly know that you could create some amazing pieces of furniture and so forth based upon your creativity. But when it came to artistry, only one made my top 10 list, and this company was trying to beautify your concrete footers.
Hi, I'm Chad with Pier Tops, and this is the tube top that's used on top of a sauna tube to give it a more decorative, functional, finished look after it's all stripped.
And you have different versions of them, correct?
Correct. We have the 12-inch square top, which we've just introduced this year, and now we also have the 8-inch. We have the square top and also recessed top. Can click into each other to stack, and then also a bolt plate to keep your bolts just perfect.
Yeah,
nice and
much
square.
more substantial.
Absolutely.
Base
and then
plate.
We're kind of taking out the user error as we speak in the field.
I'm assuming this also provides a bit more strength and stability for your...
You know, the strength and stability of the overall pier will be the same. It's just more of a detailed finished look.
Yeah, because you remove the plate afterwards, and then you get a nice, beautiful finished look like this.
You remove the form, exactly.
And how many versions do you have?
Right now we have two different sizes. We have the 8-inch and the 12-inch, and in each size we have the recessed top, we have a flat top, and we have the slope top.
Okay, perfect.
And then we also have the plates, and then the chamfer finish on top.
Yeah, chamfered finish option.
Yep.
What is your website?
PierTops.com.
There we go.
When you walk the world of concrete, you certainly don't know what you're going to spec from one booth to the next, but one thing you can truly anticipate from the very start before you even get there is it's going to be a hands-on tool experience in comparison to any other trade show that I'm a part of. I go to different trade shows across the entire country, travel for thousands of miles, and this is by far the best trade show if you want some hands-on experience with the tools that you might see in stores. This is one of my all-time favorite parts of this show, just because personally for me, if I'm truly thinking about purchasing one of these tools, I want a hands-on experience if I'm going to spend hundreds if not thousands of dollars. Makita certainly had the biggest battery-powered circular saw I'd ever handled before.
Makita.
Crescent had some new built-in innovations when it comes to sledgehammer technology, which makes it safer for the user even if they miss-hit. But the item that got my attention the most that I handled at this show, but I certainly couldn't handle in the field, was Magnum Stone.
This is our precast concrete system called Magnum Stone. The blocks here are 8 square feet on the facing, nice natural stone aesthetic. And as well, the blocks have a hollow core design that helps improve drainage, but also adds mass back to the blocks. We've also got multiple reinforcement solutions for taller walls, from geogrid to gravity extenders. And yeah, this is great for residential, commercial infrastructure, and even stormwater management solutions. So, yeah.
I mean, obviously this is going to take more sizable equipment to install, but inevitably the installation timing, it must be much more simplistic because you're not stacking small blocks all the way up, right?
Yeah, that's right. With Magnum Stone, it's all machine installations, so crews as low as 2 or 3 people can install well over 1,000 square feet of retaining wall per day, which ultimately the faster you can install the retaining walls, always the better. I streamlined that. There's also more cost-efficient benefits as well.
And how many finishes do you have? Do you have just one finish, or is there multiple different options?
Yeah. Ultimately, with our facings here, we have multiple facings that get mixed up and kind of randomized during installation, and that's how you get the kind of beautiful natural stone finish here.
Yeah, there we go. And what's your website?
Yeah, our website is www.magnumstone.com.
As I finish up this top 10 list, I always want to provide value to my audience, and I know not everyone is going to be looking for a massive retaining wall, but there are a number of smaller finds at this show that are always a wealth of not only usefulness, but also easeability of attaining. Honorable mentions go to Bucket Liner, who creates a bucket liner for 5-gallon buckets. Cool. So if you're mixing up epoxies, this is perfect for you. And if you're one of those individuals that always has dirt and grime in your fingers, try out Tiger Grip.
Oh, look at this.
Plus, Tracer had one of the most impressive non-clogged pens I've ever seen before, so I might just be removing all of my Sharpies out of my drawer and replacing them with these.
Taxes is feeling unwelcome. Now taxes.
But my favorite item of all when it comes to small finds is a screw. All of my non-clogged pen grip. Plus, Tracer had one of the most impressive non-clogged pens I've ever seen before, so I might just be removing all of my Sharpies out of my drawer and replacing them with these. But my favorite item of all when it comes to small finds is a screw of all things.
Hey guys, this is the duplex screw. It's designed to be a reusable alternative solution to duplex nails. Just like the nails, it has a double head, so it's going to stick out on your form walls really well. They are powder coated orange, so they're easy to spot, whether they're in the form walls or if they're on the ground. It's got a long shank, so it's going to pull your boards together really nice, not have any gaps. And we also recently added a Type 17 point, so you're going to have easy starts and reduced splitting. But yeah, they go in very easy. You can go in with a 1/4-inch nut driver on an end cap and install your screws. But more importantly, when you're done and you're going to tear your form walls down, they're incredibly fast, easy to find, and if they do get covered in concrete, just knock it off and keep going. And they come in 25-pound and 10-pound boxes, and you can find those on our website at duplexscrews.com.
The nice thing is that the head is perfect so you can put it into your drill, correct?
Yes, so if you guys are in a tight space, you're doing stairs, or you lose your nut driver, you can actually just use the chuck on the impact to continue installing and removing your screws. So you can have cost savings on the reusability of the screws, but also on the fact that you don't have to have a bunch of bits to keep going. So
yeah, just in case you lose your bit, does it stop you from actually getting the job done?
Exactly, absolutely.
Awesome. And what was your website again?
It's duplexscrews.com, or you can find them on advancedcomponents.com.
And that is my top 10 list for World of Concrete 2026. As always, I will have a link in the video description below if you are ever interested in looking further into any of these products. Please let me know in the comment section which of these top 10 items you liked the most, and if you did go to World of Concrete this year, let me know what your favorite booth at the show was as well, if it didn't make it to the list already. I love putting these lists together for my audience, and World of Concrete is one of my favorite shows the entire year. Hopefully you are all able to enjoy this top 10 list, but I also have a plethora of other products that I have not featured yet in this video. So if you want to see another top 10 list from World of Concrete, let me know in the comment section. But till then, thank you all for watching, you beautiful, sexy beasts. Oh yeah.
That was cool. That was cool.